Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Chris, and I am joined by my brothers Adam
Hello.
and Eric.
Hello.
We are back in the room to talk more Stranger Things. We're going to do our full spoiler discussion for Volume 1. It's been out long enough for everyone to have checked it out, to have binged the bejesus out. I bet you everyone's watched it at least twice, maybe 3 times. But we are going to be talking full spoilers once the intro plays. So if you've clicked onto this just to get a quick thought on Stranger Things 4 and you haven't actually watched it all, this is your spoiler warning. We're talking full spoilers for the whole first volume. And we're really in it, man. We've all got our Hellfire Club t-shirts. Hey! We've joined the Hellfire Club. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, jump over to YouTube to check that out. Nice little visual there.
And then go back.
And then go back if you want. I mean, it's up to you. You can listen to it on the go if you want. But of course, if you're on YouTube as well, there will be timestamps down below when we get to certain episodes and what we're talking about in each episode. And we'd love to hear from you guys. So make sure to jump down into the comments to share your own thoughts on Stranger Things for Volume 1. What was your favorite episode? All that stuff. We'd love to hear from you guys. And if you enjoyed this, why not give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, click that notification bell for future content. And to those who are listeners on audio platforms, you can also touch bases on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Stranger Things for Volume 1. But without this is a mouthful. Without further ado, let's get running up the hill.
I thought you said spoiler after the intro.
Hey, well, that could be anything, right? That could be anything. To be honest, the charts are spoiling that. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Just to start us off, right? Let's just go for like the key moments in each episode, because otherwise, I don't know how we keep on track. And then if at the end we maybe miss something, or there's a particular storyline that went on through a couple of episodes that anyone wants to bring up again, then we can like come back to those. So,
okay.
Episode 1, the opening. We got to start with the opening. Me and Adam kind of got to talk about spoiler free, but Eric, and you could talk full spoilers for Eric. What did you think of the opening to Stranger Things 4?
First time, intriguing, because like, ooh, this is a different side to Dr. Brenner, because he always from season 1 seemed like he was the cold heart. He was really cold hearted, calculated, uncaring. His treatment of 11 was awful, and in this, with the opening, we see that he has he very much does care. He's very
seems to, yeah.
He's very human. He's very human with it. Now I did guess, like with the very start, it's obviously him doing his morning routine.
Yeah.
So first I was a bit like, at first I thought, oh well, this is obviously the buyers in California when the kid was going on the bike. Then when it was the February man picked up, I was like, okay, definitely not. What's going on here? And then the minute I saw a bit of the silver hair, I was like, no, sorry, it was the crossword. I was like, this is Dr. Brenner.
You knew from the crossword?
I had my theories there.
Okay.
Just because it seemed very methodical to be him.
And then did you think he was alive, or did you know this is a flashback?
No, I thought he was alive. Because it was said in season 2 that he was alive.
Right, yeah.
So I thought this was shown where he is now. This was
the confirmation
that he was still alive. And then when obviously he was in, I was like, oh, it's a flashback. Okay, that's kind of cool. I did notice continuity error at the start with the first episode. Jesus. Yes, there is a continuity error.
I'm sure there's a few in there somewhere.
Well, I only know the continuity error when you watch like the last episode and you go back to rewatch it. Then you see the continuity error. We'll get to that later.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Other than that, very good intro.
Well, I mean, I expected the show to open up with the Creel family, because they were shown in the trailers, and I kind of thought it's like, oh, I'll probably start with them and then jump forward in time because they obviously have something to do with this season. So when it started with Brenner, first of all, I was like, oh, that's surprising, and also this is shot amazingly. Fuck me, this show is shot so well. And then of course the Massacre, I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, fucking Nibelheim, hello. I got some serious Final Fantasy VII vibes actually throughout this season. I'll explain that later in terms of the breakdown of who's who in the hierarchy of the story. But
I was thinking immediately of Grey Fox.
That as well, yeah, especially with that hallway.
Yeah.
Wow, fucking hell, so violent. And I love the little flashes of. It was kind of jump scary a little bit. The like flashes of violence on the screen. And I think it helped set the tone for the season. Yeah. But I was surprised at where. Did you at all think that 11 had done this?
No.
Yes.
Interesting. At first, I did. The first watch, as in, like, because I watched that opening on YouTube first.
All right.
So, first watch, I thought, I was like, oh, that's a different side to 11. This is dark. Second time watching it, as in actually watching the show, I noticed something in the background. I was like, oh.
I noticed that on my second watch. I was like, oh, there's that thing. Yeah, in the background. But the
crack
reason
on the wall.
Yeah, the crack on the wall. Well, yeah, we're spoiler alert. Why are we fucking...
Yeah, everyone needs to speak.
Spoiler. Fuck it, I'm going to say that the continuity error
Sure, go ahead. You can do it.
Right? It does a pan shot. Dr. Brenner is looking at all the kids and does a panning shot. There's two kids playing chess on his left-hand side.
Right.
Episode 7, left-hand side is number 1 and 11 playing chess. It's a continuity error.
No, 11's not playing chess. She's actually sitting exactly where she is. And if you watch the opening, you can see the back of 11. But you don't realize it's 11 until you watch episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Was she not playing chess when you came?
No, she's not playing chess. No. She's over exactly where she is in episode 7. I was actually well impressed. Because I went back and watched it and I went, holy shit, you could see her. Because I was nearly looking for her then in the room.
Yeah.
Never
mind. Okay.
So, there you go. Okay, so...
Good thing we pointed out that I don't know what I'm going to be talking about for the rest of this episode.
No, not at all. You know some stuff. So after the credits, we get to see where all the characters are at. Essentially, we get to catch up with our cast. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of people, and we get some of our new characters too, including Eddie, who is the DM of the Hellfire Club. What do you guys think of Eddie?
I didn't really like him at first, or at least like this guy is a bit of a weirdo, so I was kind of expecting somewhat the worst out of him for this.
Wow, that's harsh.
Well, like, no, oh my like, god, even I would bully him.
No, weirdo.
What a freak.
Why have you gone quiet?
Because my oak glitched on me and you guys froze.
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh fuck! It's Vecna. Adam, what did you think of Eddie?
Yeah, I same. No. I thought the intro to him was a little bit weird. I just felt like I wouldn't trust him to be around these kids. You know what I mean? Like it just felt a bit over the top. But quickly he becomes like a really likable character.
Yeah, very quickly.
And I was saying
at the end of the first episode, I was like, I'm starting to warm up to this guy.
Yeah, and I think what's really weird is the bit where I was warming up to him was the bit where he's doing the drug deal. And I was like,
this guy is hella charming.
Yeah. Why am I liking this guy? He's selling this poor girl drugs.
Yeah, poor Chrissy. Oh my god.
Poor Chrissy.
But I suppose, well, actually, are there any of the cast of characters that you want to bring up now in terms of where they're at this season before we go any further?
As in, just tell you where they are?
No, you don't have to tell me. I saw it, but I'm just if there's like for example, I didn't like what they did with Jonathan this season. I did not like that he was on drugs. I didn't like that arc. I didn't think it was suited Jonathan as a character.
A little out of character for him.
He's always judging other people for doing that kind of thing, for like following the crowd or partying or Like he always thinks of his dad as a waster. So for him to be getting high on weed, it was like, this is, I don't know, a weird move for Jonathan's character. Like I would expect it of some characters. He's not the one I would expect it of.
Yeah. Argyle, 100%.
That guy, he's weed all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any other characters that maybe you wanted to bring up, like where they're at, that you're like, either that you loved it or you weren't sure about it?
Yeah, but I think just in general, like Elle and Will, like where they're at, and the way they're introduced and the dialogue that's there. Like I feel like if anyone was like getting into this season and didn't like season 3, the whole California thing could easily throw them off as being kind of unenjoyable.
Yeah, because on my second through,
you know.
Yeah. So on my second through, I actually kind of skip up parts, not necessarily all the California parts, because there's one part in particular in California which is amazing, but any part to do with Angela.
Yeah.
I skipped those parts. One, because I don't really like watching that whole kind of stereotype bullying thing in like high school, and second thing is her voice is so irritating.
See, I different to you guys. I enjoyed all that. Mainly because I think Millie Bobby Brown's performance, I said
it's incredible.
It's so good that I'm like, I don't care. And also, we never got to see 11 in school, and 11 is so behind for her age that unfortunately she would get bullied.
Yeah.
Now, yes, it's very stereotypical the way Angela is bullying and even the way she speaks. But then we come from Irish schools and we don't know what it's like in American high schools. And the Duffer Brothers went to high school in the 80s, and you know, maybe it was like that. I don't know. Maybe maybe Angela is based 100% on someone they fucking knew, like, and that was like a normal thing. But I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I think I think the reason I didn't like it's not so much there's zero crack basically when you go and follow Elle's story, I find.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're with Lucas and Max, even there's a bit of like there's a charm to it, and the same obviously with Dustin.
Dustin and Steve, like, they're just
the best characters in the whole show.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah.
Like there's they can be serious, they can be funny, they can be all that, and it's balanced so well. But once you go over to Elle, it's just like here's the enjoyment factor gone. You know, that's kind of how I feel with it. And but it's probably just because of the characters that she's always with. You know, Mike is always so shouty. You know, even when Mike goes there, like he's never like he can be funny, especially in like season 1 and 2. He can be funny, but it's to do with his like ferocity. You know, when he shouts and stuff like that, it's like what he says is just ridiculous in the moment.
Yeah. I loved in season 1 where he was like, "If anyone looks for me, tell him I've left the country."
Yeah, things like that. It's just
yeah.
But once he gets to that age, that's not funny anymore. That's just you're a dickhead. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
You, yeah.
And so it's kind of unfortunate just the characters are with. So I think Argyle, and perhaps that's why they had to do that with Jonathan. They are the only ones that will add that
a bit of levity to those sequences.
That side of the story, but it's certainly nowhere near as entertaining as back in Hawkins.
Oh yeah, I mean all the cracks in Hawkins. And there's an amazing sequence in that first episode in Hawkins where we see a D&D game and a basketball game happening at the same time. That should not be as exciting as it was, but I thought it was great. I thought it was directed incredibly well. And I thought the mirroring of a D&D miss and the basketball miss, and then the two Sinclairs getting the, you know, either the crit or the victory, like, but also showing it's like, because these guys, a lot of the season is about how these two groups, the us and them, they don't like each other or against each other, and yet by paralleling at this, they're showing some of the similarities in terms of teamwork, camaraderie, playing a game, that sense of celebration because they won a game. You know what I mean? I thought it was just incredibly well done, showing the parallel between the two.
It was very sad as well. It's like seeing like Lucas that's obviously his first game, wasn't it? Like, because he's always a bench.
Yeah.
He's always on the bench. Yeah, he got to finally play.
And when no one was there to support him, and then when he sees that they've just replaced him with his own sister.
Yeah.
sad,
I mean, I felt for Lucas this season.
I did.
I quite liked his arc. I thought he was given some.
There's certain bits where I'm like, why are you doing that, bro? But then he quickly redeems himself, I think so.
He does, yeah. And there is that moment where he's like, you can see it in his face where he's like, when do I say something like this is going too far, you know? Yeah. But then, of course, the star of the show, the episode 1 ends really with our proper introduction to Vecna. What did you guys think of Vecna?
Vecna's dope.
Blown out of water. Vecna is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Going back to like Eddie selling weed, which in that scene you had the grandfather clock with all the Black Widows climbing out of it. So clearly you could tell then with Chrissy's character, there's a lot more than just she's suffering from, whatever. Well, you find that out in the bathroom, which was a great scene as well.
She's pregnant, right?
No.
No. So
she's not pregnant. I thought she was pregnant.
No, see, so first thing I thought when she walked out of the counselor's office was she was being kind of somewhat sexually abused by her boyfriend, but like not in like he's forcing her, but more in she thinks to herself, I have to do this. So it is sort of a forcing thing, but she felt really uncomfortable. That's what at first I thought. Then when she's getting sick, I was like, oh, so now she's actually pregnant.
Yeah.
But then when it was the mother knocking on and she was talking and the mother was talking about
the mother was saying I've loosened the dress for you so it'll fit.
Yeah.
So is it that she has an eating disorder?
Yeah, body image, yeah.
Yeah. The mother is telling her the mother keeps telling her she's fat.
Because I saw that as like maybe she's pregnant, this is sickness or pregnancy, and the mother's loosening the clothes because she's going to get bigger. That's what I thought it was. But actually that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Right. Okay.
So that's why Vecna then targeted her because of the psychological.
That's why she wants the drugs then, because that, like, from what I know, it numbs your appetite. A lot of people would have weed instead of food.
I still think her purpose of going to the drugs is to try and make the nightmares.
Oh, the nightmares, the nightmares, hallucinations stop.
Yeah.
Possibly, why? But that's a huge jump though to go from here's a bag of weed to Special K. It was like, oh wow, she doesn't know what she's doing at all.
Why? What would that cereal do to you?
Well, but, it would put on calories. That's what it would do.
What a fucking cool sequence when suddenly like
kicks in,
trapped in her house. She gets like her father is stuck in the thing, and
that's all episode 1, is it?
That's all episode 1. Man. That's the end of episode 1.
Became such a memorable character in one episode.
Short space of time.
One episode. Yeah, she did an amazing performance.
Yeah, she's really good.
Really good. Yeah. And those prosthetics on Vecna?
Oh my god, amazing.
I
cannot believe how much of that is actually just prosthetic. Like I kind of thought like I had a face and body with all the vines and shit, all the like tentacles and shit. Mm-hmm. But that's all real as well. It's just the movement is CGI, but that's all a lot of that's still
it's all kind of looks like a tyrant or something, doesn't he, from Resi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something very Resident Evil about him. Absolutely.
Yeah. And his voice.
Oh, the voice is great. And I can't believe actually that the person playing him is playing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, how the fuck is that the same guy? And now, even though I know that, I'm watching it going, no, I don't. I mean, I could see it in the eyes, and I could see it in the movement even. Like, they walk the same.
They're and his little like head tilt and stuff that he does.
Yeah, it's very meticulous in the way he moves and behaves. But the voice, how is he doing that? It's incredible. It's really great work. Like, it's actually a wonderful performance, and he deserves a lot of praise, that actor. I think he's done a great job. On episode 2, we find out Hopper is alive. Well, we knew Hopper was alive, but we actually show scenes of him alive because he's missing from the first episode, and he's being horrifically tortured. Oh my god!
That stuff. The elephant scene was that was a bit nasty. As in, like when they put the gas mask on him and then they start crushing. I was like, that's a horrible fate. Like somehow. I don't know why, like the punching and the hitting, I was like, fine. The minute I started doing that, I was like, oh no. It's rough. Don't take the oxygen away.
Yeah, that's rough. But then even like, and so some of the stuff happens in other episodes as well. But like, not just the torture they're putting him through, but the torture he puts himself through
To try escape.
to try and escape.
Yeah.
Oh man,
oh
yeah.
my god, that scene where he's trying to pull those things off his ankles.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hard to watch.
It reminds you
Yeah.
of a scene from a film that I don't know the name of the movie, and I've never seen the whole film either, but I remember this one particular scene where it's like is this Asian girl, she's trapped somewhere, I think in a basement or something like that, and she wants to escape, so she's like chained by the ankle. So she gets like I think it's a tin can or something like that, and tears it so that it's like, you know, serrated.
No.
And she starts carving her heel off
Christ.
to try and slip it off, and that's
Right,
exactly
right,
what this
right.
reminded me of.
Yeah,
So
yeah, fuck that.
while I was watching it, that was bad, but
Yeah.
it was making me remember an even worse scene. So I'm like, oh god. Well,
Yeah. Stop doing this.
It was brutal. Yeah, I'd hate that.
Yeah, fuck that. We also learn about Victor Creel in this episode. We get that story from Wayne Munson, and Nancy learns about him, and then at the same time her friend goes missing, and we get another kill from Vecna. We realize there's going to be a serial killer pattern to this then.
Mm-hmm.
Very Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Actually, the hallucination Fred has, the prosthetics and all those actors is very good as well.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was horrifying.
I loved as well. There's when he's looking at the cop, and like, I don't know, the cop's voice was a bit like, I don't find that particularly scary, just the voice getting deeper. But when it comes back to him and his scar is after opening,
Yeah.
it's really good. They don't draw too much attention to it, but it's very, very good. It's very believable.
That's another where I thought this was going to be a recurring like a main character.
Yeah.
Like they really do.
They gave him
good
just
job.
enough. Yeah, they gave him just enough to be memorable.
They kind of flesh out pretty much everyone that's in that will make some sort of appearance in the show, even if they're
I don't know how to do it.
It's incredible writing.
Yeah,
really is.
It's fucking crazy. This is also the episode with the Rinko Mania sequence. So I have a feeling you guys did not enjoy that sequence at all.
I didn't mind it. It's very.
I liked when she smashed her face. I like that bit.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was a good bit. But I mean, the actual like whole bully sequence was like, well, this is just typical high school bullying. Somehow, this one person is able to get some adult DJ to get in on it.
Well, you see, it's also it's Carrie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I didn't mind
So
as much. It's more the response to it all, right? So like, okay, so she goes over and smashes her face with a rollerblade or roller skate, and it's Mike's reaction. I don't know. It's just something about it where it's just a bit kind of like, dude, just shut up. Like what did she do? Like, she fought back. Like, what's your deal, bro?
And like, there's an element of fuck you, Angela.
Well,
fuck you.
But the reason I bring it up though is just only because like Elle broke a kid's arm back in season 1 to stop bullying.
She stabbed people's necks in season 1.
That kid had a knife though.
I don't care.
That kid had a knife and then held it up to Elle. So it is different. This time Elle is the attacker. She's not defending anyone. And yes, it's justified, but I can also see, like, Mike, there's a whole bunch of stuff where it's like, I came out here and you told me everything was fine, that you were friends.
Yeah, there's that
I don't know
element of
anything
it.
that's going on. And then out of nowhere, not only do I see that it's not okay, then you smash this girl. I don't even know I don't know how long this has been going on for. This is totally out of context.
Yeah, no, but that's the
Mike,
bit that's what I mean. It's like that's the bit of Mike that just doesn't work for me. Is that he's just so loud and angry all the time, and it's like, I don't think you would realistically respond like that to Elle in that moment.
Right. Yeah,
it might actually happen later once you get a bit more context as to what the hell's going on. But you'd be a bit more like, you know, trying to maybe even help the girl that got smashed in the face, or even escort Elle out, or you'd be busy with the moment as opposed to just standing there screaming at her, well, what did you do? And it just feels a little forced because they needed to tie that into a flashback sequence, isn't it? So
a little bit, yeah. They also name Vecna in episode 2. By the end of episode 2, they've
Oh yes, yeah.
Vecna.
Well, they dubbed the whole thing Vecna's curse when the whole hallucinations, the hunting down.
Yeah,
and then they.
I mean, they kind of arrived to it too quickly. It's kind of strange. But
Yeah,
I
I
also
thought that too.
love the way they name these creatures. I think it's fucking badass.
It is good, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's okay. I'm here for it.
I think this one's a little bit more obvious. With the other two, not so much. Like Demogorgon, the thing looks nothing like a Demogorgon.
No,
Well,
no,
they
100%
named it a Demogorgon because
Well, she used the miniature.
used the Demogorgon.
Yeah. So I love
Not-
how they came to that, right? And it's the same with the Mind Flare, right? That looks nothing like a Mind Flare, but I love that they describe its abilities. That's why they name it that way.
Yeah.
When it comes to Vecna, it's just kind of
Oh, they kind of name it Vecna because they just played a D&D match about Vecna. Like,
Yeah,
it's really just
it's a happy accident, really.
Yeah,
that happened, right?
But
then-
he like, I mean, if you were to think of like what would Vecna possibly look like, this is definitely the closest.
Yeah, he's closer to what you imagine.
he's an undead. I did some research on
with
Vecna.
a funky hand.
with a funky hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's again to do with D&D lore. Like the whole Vecna's entire thing is like they weren't even having it that the kids were like just name them because of the abilities. They just tried let's have Vecna. Like he is just Vecna.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
the hand of Vecna is a big serious thing in D&D lore. And even
yeah.
like I think Vecna's one of his titles is like Lord of Spiders or some shit like that. So that's why the spiders are a thing. So they
okay.
That's essentially they just made Vecna in this thing.
Yeah,
I do like the imagery, and you get a lot more of that in episode 2 actually, of when he has the vines and he goes up in, like, first of all, it looks fucking cool. It looks like a web. It's also him plugging into like the upside down Cerebro.
Yes.
It's all sorts of fucking badassery, to be honest with you. It looks amazing. In episode 3, then we get Paul Reiser's character back.
We do.
I love that guy. I think the little hand movements he does are excellent, and I have to say, the intro sequence where the army go to his house and they show the killings that are going on, and they're able to kind of pin it on 11 and what 11 was being trained to do for like distant assassination. I'm like, this is great. I am loving where this is heading. This is suddenly like the stakes have just been raised. The army are going to hunt down 11 because of what Vecna is doing, which suddenly connects the two storylines. That was fucking brilliant.
That's the one story arc I think throughout that's a little bit they don't touch on it much is the military, because when it comes back to them, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, they're almost gone too long.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You kind of forget about them sometimes,
but you don't mind too much because
it'll be too much.
But as well, and you're like, give me more Hawkins, please.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
We need way more Hawkins.
And less everywhere else.
Because then Hawkins, they start finding out how Vecna is, or at least what connects the victims, and that Max is next.
Yeah.
Find out Max is next.
Which of course leads us to, guys. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens in episode 3 as well, but I'm trying to pick out like some of the big moments and stuff, and then we can come back to anything that we missed. But episode 4, baby.
But does episode 3 not have Robert Englund?
No, that's all episode 4, baby.
Episode 4 is by far
episode 4.
Everything's in 4.
Yeah. Okay. Billy. So 4, so there's so much in 4. I just presume that's it. It must be in other episodes because there's just so much.
There's a lot in 4, but none of it feels rushed either. It's all, you know, like they've already built up to these moments in the other episodes, which is why I suppose sometimes you can kind of skim past 1 because of setting up what's actually going to happen like later, what's going to happen at 4. So I suppose
4 is the
moments.
best episode in Stranger Things.
Yes.
Stop.
It is. But you can't, like, it would be somewhat effective, but you can't just put that on. Its own.
No.
It's so good because, like, it's incredibly well shot and it's incredibly well directed. And to be honest, I think Sean Levi deserves an award for that episode. I really do.
So
I mean,
Sadie.
It's not just him, but Sadie is so fucking good in it.
I think she's technically the best actor in this show this season. I would think.
Why is she not playing Ellie in The Last of Us?
Yeah.
I really think she would have been so good in that role. But anyway, a lot happens. We'll save that moment to last, obviously. We get to meet Yuri, Joyce and Murray.
Hey.
Yuri. Everyone remembers that part of Dear Billy, right? Okay, well, what did you guys think of Yuri?
I mean, at first with him, I was like, oh, typical. I mean, Stranger Things, they are always going to play on the stereotypes of the old products and old films and stuff. So it was like he's the stereotypical sleazy kind of nutcase smuggler character.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that moment so at first I was like, okay, Grant, this is like his episode is gonna be in for like 1 or 2 and he'll fuck off then, you know what I mean? Whatever. He's there for comic relief or you know, if you find that sort of style funny. But then the end of that episode where he fucking betrays
them all over.
He fucks them all over. I was like, never mind. This was good. That was really fucking good.
I kind of had similar thoughts. I was like, how many comic relief characters do we need? There's a few, and I'm okay with. And it's like, do we need another one? I'm like Murray in himself is kind of a comic relief character. So do I need another comic relief character with this already comic relief character? And then yes, the fact that he's an untrustworthy smuggler and that he pins it back on them. I'm like, do you know what? I kind of like it.
I'm glad they did that.
I'm actually glad they did it. And my heart broke a little bit for poor Hopper, who had a moment of comfort before they came and took him back. But he has a great sequence in his escape, which is one of the big moments of that episode. Where he's fighting the guard in the wooden shack or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so tense because you're just waiting for that gun to go off. Like, it's a great choreographed fight.
Yeah. No, it's a really good scene.
You just agree.
100%. I'm trying to think of the name of. I know he's what do they call
Enzo,
yeah. I'm just trying to
Antonov or something.
I'm trying to think of his Game of Thrones name.
He's in Game of Thrones. That's what he's in.
I heard that he was.
I really like him.
He plays the many faces assassin chap, like Jurgen or Jagen or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Jurgen Klopp or something.
He was good. He was good in that, and he's good in this.
He is, and I like him and Hopper together. I think it's it's interesting.
Camaraderie,
you know? It's interesting, especially as it's developing. It's really, really good. But an even better action sequence in Dear Billy happens in California, and my jaw was fucking dropped watching it.
I couldn't believe that. I was like as it was.
Wow.
So it's the shootout sequence in the
house,
Joyce's house. It's like the one shot, the fucking John Wick style gun shooting sequence. I couldn't believe it because it was just like, firstly, we've never seen a scene like that in Stranger Things ever.
Yeah.
No. It
didn't actually feel out of place either. And it just kept kind of going. It's not that long, but it just like, because the shot just keeps going. And I think it works because California was so goddamn boring. That
it shakes it up out of nowhere.
And then this happens and it's like, oh, holy shit. That was an incredible. What the fuck did I just watch? Let's do that again. See, I haven't rewatched. I haven't rewatched season. I watched season 4 once, right? Once through. I haven't actually rewatched the episodes, but I rewatched that scene and the end of episode 4 about 5 times.
A bunch of times.
I just keep putting them on and just watching them because they're just masterfully done.
That scene was fucking incredible. It out of nowhere to then just the fucking circling around and all the whole choreography of that sequence is great. To then the very realistic panic and comedy of them getting away in your man's truck or his van.
Yeah, the van,
when they get to there, like, because like your man's panic is obviously really fucking believable, but there's also a comedy element to it because your charge is like, yes, this is very fucking ridiculous. This went from nothing to 90 in like 2 seconds.
Yes, and the panic on the kids. What I like is that if this was a Hollywood movie, they'd all be kind of keeping their cool. You know, it's like as if nothing's going on. They're look at Will's face. He is terrified. Yeah, and the guy who's protecting them, this felt like one of those cop shows. Like this, he was a
And he
real
put up
cop.
he put up a good fight. It wasn't
Yeah.
just that, because he's not a main character, he goes straight away. He
Yeah.
put up a really good fight.
Yeah.
And the pacing of that scene is so good. And the lack of music is so effective. You know what I mean? Right till they get to that van. It's so good. I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, like where did that come out of? And
I'm hoping for some more of that.
yeah,
at the
a
end.
part 2 of that. And I'm also hoping for more of the finale of the Dear Billy episode, which I suppose is like there's a few bits that lead up to it, of course. Like, you know, Max gets her visions throughout the whole writing letters thing. Her monologue to Billy's grave is beautiful. And then getting that hallucination and actually seeing Dacre Montgomery back as Billy, and he's in that small scene, he's excellent. Why is he so good? And I'm also like, he's covered in blood and he's still gorgeous, you know? What the fuck? Like, why is he so sexy? And then, of course, we get the scene with Vecna, where we end up in Vecna's mind. That set is unbelievable. I could have done with some of that in Doctor Strange.
Well, no, yeah, we could have done with these directors. That director for Doctor Strange, to be honest.
And the budget.
Yeah. And timing and everything. Yeah.
So good.
Fucking yeah. It definitely is his mind, is it? Because
we can assume so much. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was either like it's either his mind or it's like another fucking it's an upside down to the upside down.
Well,
it's like she's gone further down the rabbit hole.
The way I look at it, I suppose, and kind of like in Sherlock Holmes at the whole Mind Palace things, it's the equivalent of when L is in that black void space.
Right. Okay.
Right. That's Vecna's.
It's like their Tesseract.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. But man, the fucking. I don't know how many times I've said this on this podcast. The fucking music.
That was really it was really tense just because of the whole build up to, you know, we seen Chrissy go, then did we see
Fred? You see Fred die,
yeah, but the other guy, he didn't go yet.
Patrick hadn't gone yet.
Patrick hadn't
he's
gone
not
yet.
gone.
Okay,
yet.
so you
have then the scene
deaths.
with Robert Englund then explaining what happened to his family and how
okay,
Vecna
so
fucked with
yeah,
them.
so you technically
and
would
then
have
her
seen
dying.
three or four deaths at that point.
Yeah,
and we know that we're now familiar with that method of death, and then we know that's going to happen to Max because we saw the trailer,
which was genius.
Yeah, so really building up. I really wasn't sure
if she was going to make it
because her performance was so good that it was almost like a
goodbye.
Here's my send off.
Well, even the letters thing was like the send off. It's like you're expecting that after she's gone, they'll read the letter and it'll be really effective and beautiful. And plus, like, not only was the music so dramatic, but then they start playing all the memories, and it's like, remember your time at Max because she's going now.
Yeah.
But actually, it had a double whammy of these memories are saving Max because she's in such grief and such depression. But now she's realizing the things she's living for, which is, as cheesy as it sounds, friendships with these people. And it hasn't all been bad. There is good. And it's, oh man, it's so like
So when she's running and then he's doing his little kind of
everything's falling at her and
throwing a fucking moon at her.
Basically. But I loved as well is it's the because at first it's like, okay, this kind of looks a bit CGI-ish, you know, whatever. But then when she falls and she's like
and
covered in the blood.
Yeah, the blood like actually like
it just really pulls you into it, and it's like it gives you it's very visceral, and then when it blacks out, you're like, oh, because I thought at that moment she was going to get crushed. I really did.
They do that a couple of times in season 4. They do fake outs, like where it's like, that's where the episode ends, and then no, here you go, and you're like, oh fuck yes, And actually, normally I'm. I don't know, like normally it would be, to me, it's like nearly more effective to see the character go, right? Because of the emotional impact it's going to have on everyone. But the relief I felt when they caught her, I felt like I was right in that hug, right? I felt like I was right there when Lucas and his performance there as well in that moment is so good. He's like crying and saying, I thought I'd lost you. And it's so believable that, you know, for a show that's kind of crazy and sci-fi and whatever, everyone's performances and the music and the way it's directed sells the shit out of this. It's so good.
I think after that moment, though, so she becomes kind of the expert on Vecna a little bit because of her experience.
She knows what she saw.
That's when they should name him. From there.
Right, yeah. Right, maybe that's a better time to name him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I suppose they also liked the idea of like, for a long time, we need to keep referring to this guy as Vecna and who is Vecna and where did Vecna come from.
Yeah.
So that it turns him very much into a character and not just a monster.
But yeah, I remember when I was watching that episode, I was very much kind of slouched, relaxed, watching it, enjoying it and stuff. Like the scene with the one shot was great. The Robert Englund's performance was fantastic.
But yeah, that as well.
Robert Englund said, "Yeah, I'm very surprised you guys are really brushed past Robert Englund. Fucking Robert Englund's in this."
The Silence of the Lambs moment.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Him clawing the table and then turning around and his eyes clawed out, but as well, his delivery of the whole scene is really unnerving. He's great.
Yeah.
He went to the Duffer Brothers and said, "I'd like to be in this season," and they were like, "That's great because we're basically homaging you. So yes, come on in." Which is crazy.
Let me just check my schedule. Sure.
Yeah, it was like, have we anything for him? Yes, we do. Just tell him yes. Yeah,
it's like they go into the next room. I'm sorry, you're fired.
There's some other guy there. Yeah.
But when they got to see with Max running, I was just like, what? No. Oh my God. I was like on the edge of the seat. I had mixed emotions. I was like, I didn't know whether to cry. I was crying out of one ear and laughing on the other side of my face. Like, I was like, this is fucking amazing.
I got up and started walking around. and then Ash was like, that was amazing. I was like, that was fucking amazing. That wasn't just amazing. That was fucking amazing.
But it's good.
We're just that's amazing.
We're not.
I don't want to go to bed.
We're not being crazy here because the internet seems to agree. And they're getting a lot of praise. Both the actress, the director, and of course, Kate Bush.
Kate Bush is getting
Not only actually, here's the thing, right?
She's number 2 in Ireland. I know for a fact.
You hear that song in episode 1, right?
Yeah.
It transitions from Elle having a shit time right over to Max is also having a shit time, and she's playing the song on headphones. And when that happened in episode 1, I was sitting on the couch beside Ash, and I went, fucking tune, right? 'Cause I love that song.
Yeah.
And I always have.
Yeah.
And then when they used it, in the way they used it, and I already think it's a fucking tune, and they added orchestral strings to that shit. I was like, this is incredible. And it goes to show the power of music in a scene like this, you know. But speaking on
it's no placebo though, is it? So
speaking on that though, before we move on, right? It begs the question, if you're in that scenario, what song will save you from Vecna?
I've started to
it's a difficult
train myself to really enjoy Tubular Bells by Mike Oldfield because that would give me 25 minutes to get out of there.
That is a fantastic idea. Well done. I like your thinking.
Though it's kind of creepy because it's considered as the Exorcist song.
To be honest, I don't know how that would help you. Like, if you want to make what's already a terrifying situation even scarier, you fucking work away with Tubular Bells. Eric, do you have any idea what song you might use to save you from Vecna? There's so many you could choose. Like,
there's so many. I'd be up there with putting on just because that scene was is my cheer moment of this year so far. So I would be I would be half tempted to put on the Speed of Force, just to be I'm fucking running.
You know what? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because
get me pumped.
Yeah. And I was there to take it the other way. Maybe this is a
put
bit
on Rip and Tear.
From Doom. Yeah. I was really thinking pessimistically, if I don't make it, what's a good song to die to? So I was like, maybe Time by Hans Zimmer. and
Fuck
just
me,
make
yeah.
it like a really emotional way to like go out. And plus, I like the idea of like the grandfather clock is there and time is playing.
The only thing is though, right? Have you ever like put that on sometimes, and if your speakers aren't great and there's a lot of noise going on, it's like you can't really hear it until it really kicks in, and that's like a long time. So
yeah, I might be dead before it kicks in. in
you'd be like,
fashion.
Vecna is like speaking to you, and you just like shh, 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 shh. Trying to
yeah, wait, it gets to the good bit. Wait. Yeah,
just you shut your mouth.
Well, maybe if you want to like kick straight in, then go like Before I Forget by Slipknot or something. I don't know.
I think Fuel by Metallica.
Oh, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Get me to that fucking gate.
I think No Time
so
for
many
Caution. No Time for Caution might be good.
Again, though, I feel like those songs are so
yeah.
like they're quite
too short.
They're quiet though, aren't
Some
they?
of them.
They're
Yeah, but what you're doing though is you're waiting for that moment when it really kicks in. That's when you grab Vecna's neck and you start ripping it out, and then you start running.
Yeah, but I think what Adam's trying to say is
you hear
Vecna
it?
won't wait. No, Vecna won't wait.
Yes, there's that too.
He'll snap your neck before you get to the good bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No.
In terms of pumping you up.
He appreciates a good song.
He does. Let us know, guys. If you watch this on YouTube, jump down in the comments. Let us know which is your song that's going to save Vecna. Or if you're listening on audio platforms, touch base, and social media, let us know.
I think the first one that came to my mind was New Divide.
Linkin Park.
Yeah,
But that does only give me about 3 minutes to get the fuck out of there.
To be honest, I was going through a whole moment ago on which Linkin Park song do you pick, and I was like, fucking, and like a lot of them are very short.
I think for me, because I think when you first asked that, the first thing that I did go straight to Linkin Park, and then I think I went straight to like The Catalyst or something, which is a much longer song, so I have a little bit more time. But then that is a long run, and you're trying to dodge debris.
Hey,
fair play to Max. Max is an athlete.
That is a long song, though.
It's not that long a song, so
it's not.
Nah, it's like just over 4 minutes, I think. It's it's an average kind of length song.
Well, that'd be quite long back in the 80s.
Yeah, that's definitely a long song back then.
Yeah, like it gets cut down on the radio.
I thought it was longer than that. I thought it was like the 5 minute mark.
Either way,
maybe it's 4.5.
Still, you're ripping it. Yeah, you gotta fucking.
There's a lot to go.
She gets up, and the song is already like half started because she's already on the chorus by the time it kicks in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
she absolutely is a way better athlete than Lucas.
Yeah, she should be on that basketball team.
Yeah.
Let us know anyway about which song you guys would use. Moving on to episode 5, very quickly, and this is the Nina project.
Yes.
This is where Eleven's story I think gets really interesting, but as well, very early on in this episode, like literally before the intro credits, Brenner is alive.
Yeah.
Back. He's not just into flashbacks. You guys happy to see Matthew Modine back?
Oh yeah.
Yes. I mean,
he seems so sure, Adam.
Well, I hope they explain how he survives.
The next episode is called Papa.
Okay, because that Demogorgon. I mean, we saw what he did in Russia. I mean, like we seen it attack in one, but it was a little bit more like Alien. It was a little bit more sneaky. But now the latest development seems to be a little bit more neomorph. It's like fucking shredding people apart. Like it's really fast. So based on that, I'd like to know how he survives that attack.
100%. Yeah. But I also think
it does jump straight on him.
Yeah.
I like how I think aware that the creators were. I think with people's theories. Like I think it's like at any point where someone is suggesting Vecna might be such and such, they come along and go, "Well, that's not it. You're off the mark." You know what I mean? It's like, you thought it was Billy? No, Billy is definitely dead. Yeah. Because for some reason, a lot of people thought it was Billy. It's like, oh, you think it's Papa? Here's Papa. Now what you got? You're like, I don't know. I don't know. What you got? And they're like, you don't know? Well, I'm going to show you. It's this guy. He's right here. You don't know that? You haven't figured that out yet? Because we first see then number 1 in this episode. And at first
he's not revealed as number 1 at that point, though.
No,
he's not.
He's a random orderly, right?
Yeah.
And at first I just thought, okay, so he's a random orderly, but he kept showing up, and I was like, what the fuck is the deal with this guy? And I was like, oh, okay, so there's something.
The first time it appears is just like I don't know, there's like a little bit like the Matrix or something like that, like some sort of like almost like a program, like her like she's just reflecting a face that she remembers or something, like as part of the training. That's what I thought. But then he gets a bit more lines, and it's like, okay. And that's when it clicked a little bit then for me. This guy's
totally.
Uno.
What did you guys think of the whole 11 having to go back through her memories and stuff?
Nice way to fill out her story.
That's it. I really liked it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was okay. I'm not that mad on 11 as a character in general.
Okay.
And I just realized I know that she's needed to save everyone, and it's like I know that inevitably I know where she's going. It's the other people around her that's more interesting. It's number one. That's what's interesting about that part, more so than what's happened with 11. And I already knew that she didn't kill anyone at the beginning anyway, so it's more about like, okay, so show us
who killed them.
Show us what actually happened.
But that's what I mean though. I'm not necessarily.
It takes a while to get there, though, doesn't it?
11. No, I know, but just that we know that we're building up to something though. You know what I mean? And it's
I
so think all that's interesting.
It's intriguing to see what is it building up to, because I was still very much like, either this guy is one, or he is just a really creepy orderly guy, right? So I was either this guy is one, or one was a patient that they fucked up, and then one became Vecna. So
was that your theory at that point?
That was kind of somewhat my theory, kind of building up through it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, only because Ash felt the same way. We were kind of like that element of the show I really enjoyed, where the two of us were throwing out guesses every now and again, and then we started putting our guesses together, and we actually figured it out before episode 7. I think I said it to Adam actually what my theory was, but again, I hadn't seen episode 7 yet. I had no idea, and I was fucking right on the money. But like, you couldn't even place a bet on at that point because the episode was out, and anyone could have said, "Sure, you probably just watched it." It's like I hadn't, I swear. But like, because she was going, I bet you it's one of the numbered kids. I was like, it can't be. It has to be something to do with the Creels because it started in the 50s, right? And why does he hang out in that house if he's one of these numbered kids? And she was like, well, maybe one of the numbered kids has something to do with the Creel house. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And then we just put the jigsaw together and figured it all out.
Yeah, but no, I went real bonkers actually with that Creel thing, but I'll get to that a little bit later. But
okay, cool. Well, speaking of the Creel, we also get in episode 5, we get to go to the Creel house.
Yes, we do.
What you guys think of the set?
Sure, I love a bit of it again. Like that was very it. So you had like
the haunted house,
Silence of the Lambs, you had John Wick, you had the Flash Turn Back Time, and now we have fucking it. Fucking brilliant. That was great. There was an eerie creepiness to it while also still keeping that somewhat charm between all the different characters and stuff, which that was quite nice.
The interactions going on there are great. Poor Steve is always getting stuck with Dustin.
But I do feel like, his development, him and Dustin, they have such good chemistry together. But I do feel
they're amazing.
Yeah, I do feel that there's a bit that they kind of start to hint at more, especially in this episode, between Steve and Nancy kind of going to rekindle their spark.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they took that from the audience. The audience were like, no, get her back with Steve. Steve was so much better. Maybe that's why they did what they did with Jonathan. Or
one of them is going to die before they have an opportunity.
No, Steve.
You see, I was thinking that. I was going,
think it's going to be Nancy?
I thought it was Steve first. I was like, they're going to kill Steve. He's a fan favorite. And there's only so far you can kind of go with his arc. At this point, if he died, it would affect so many, not just the characters, but the audience. But then I actually thought about it, and I was from a plot point, actually. Even though it would affect me more if Steve died, Nancy's death would affect more of the characters.
Yes, it would, yeah.
It would affect Steve, it would affect Jonathan, it would affect Robin now, it would affect Mike in a big way, and actually affect the Wheeler family as a whole, which is kind of where this whole thing started.
It would affect Dustin.
Nancy might be the more interesting one to kill off in terms of how it affects the cast.
Yeah.
And in terms of story development moving forward. But I don't think they're going to get back together. I think one of them's going to die before there's an opportunity.
I don't think
Which
you want.
one was-
I don't think you want to kill off Steve. Like that kind of thing works in Game of Thrones, right? Because it's the shock value. I mean, there's a lot of shock value stuff in that show, whether it's the violence, the sex, or and the killing of the characters. That's not what this show is about, and you kind of needed something to keep you going. And if you kill off Steve, then it's kind of that could anger people, and they might leave, because there are some Steve stands out there.
I'm one of them.
I was talking. I was telling Chris this was like there was a tweet. Oh, I told you this as well, didn't I? But the tweet, which was like, all men have to apologize for not being Steve Harrington.
Hey, well, I am deeply
I'm
sorry.
so sorry, actually.
I am actually sorry. Like, I am. What can I say?
Steve Harrington.
Steve.
Now
Yeah, what the fuck is it? Actually,
that's such a good moment.
That was great.
and that's in
hilarious.
episode 6, which is next. So we do get to see his hairy chest on the boat before we
the
get
highlight of episode 6.
The highlight of
is
episode
hairy
6 is
chest.
Steve's. That's exactly what it is.
Episode 6 was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was actually one of the
like
weaker
Vecna, yeah.
episodes as a whole.
Wait a minute.
Um,
Is the bit I'm thinking of in? Yeah.
I've no idea.
Well,
what's the bit you're thinking of?
Yeah, what are you thinking of?
are they in the Upside Down in 7 or in 6?
7.
Or both? Oh.
They only go into it just at the end of 6.
Oh yeah.
But 6,
Oh,
right?
still,
Okay.
it's
I'm
still
going to
interesting.
talk about.
What it
I'm
was
gonna,
setting.
I'm going
what
to
it was
talk
setting up
about.
was interesting.
I'm going to talk about the one moment. It's in episode 6, and like obviously, yeah, I can nitpick. Like I want to say for the record, I think season 4 is the best Stranger Things has been since season 1. It's fucking incredible. I can't wait for the next 2 episodes. I've absolutely loved this season. Right, top quality. Any little complaints I've had are nitpicks. Like genuinely, I've loved every episode. And even episode 6, I loved it. There is a sequence in episode 6, however, that I totally dislike. That is Susie's fucking nutjob house. What the hell? I was like, what is going on? I hated it. I hated it so much. So that's okay. So like, I would give me the L getting bullied in high school over that any day. Like what?
Nah, man.
I thought they were Mormons.
Yeah.
They're fucking psychopaths. What's going on?
I thought that was
I'm not spotting the difference there.
I
Chris.
thought it was so funny. Yeah.
You Mino.
I'm joking.
It's like like after we watched it, like I was like, what the hell? Like I was like, this is so bizarre. But they managed to capture in that because it's quite quick. It's a quick moment. It doesn't go on that long.
It doesn't linger too long. No.
But they managed to capture that Cheaper by the Dozen, Home Alone.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. But also, I was
those
just
type of movies.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, this is referencing certain movies, and they're all movies I hate. Well, not Home Alone.
Yeah.
But just
but it does
weird,
it
wacky Daddy's Daycare kind of shit.
Yeah. It's definitely referencing those type of movies, but it fits it fits that family.
See, now I didn't think it did.
Oh right, okay.
I thought that it should be a much stricter household, and Susie is the black sheep.
Okay.
And even in how polite she is, she's the black sheep. You know what I mean? Like, that's as black sheep as you get in that house. I would have preferred, because now they're trying to get help from Susie.
Yep.
But they're stuck eating dinner with the family, and it's so awkward because they know they really need to get back to 11, but they're also trying not to break the cover of what's going on. And I just thought they could have had a far more comically tense scene as opposed to it's like a fucking daycare center. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And it didn't work for me, but I think a lot of people probably enjoyed it.
I think the bit where it's like, because we were like trying to figure out like what the hell's going, because we totally forgot the fact that they were Mormons.
Right.
And it's like Pagan was watching it, and then she goes, "Oh, they're Mormons," and we're like, "Oh." because
I don't get it.
Because they don't believe in contraception.
Oh, like that's why there's so many kids.
Yeah,
right?
that's why it's like such a fucking nut house.
That's not what I'm talking about, though. I'm not talking about because it's a big family. I'm talking about they're fucking fighting with swords on tables. They're shooting arrows at people who answer the door.
They seem kind of like, I mean,
crazy.
They already sounded kind of adventurous anyway, just based on like you know, we know
Susie?
it's yeah. I think Susie kind of gave us a little bit of an insight into that family anyway.
But that's what I always thought she was the black sheep though, because she's always basically saying, "Oh, if my parents knew I was doing this."
Yeah, something bad and illegal. You mean?
Well, just or even just like
Yeah.
talking to an agnostic, which she says. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's a scene that I didn't like.
But I do
Didn't
have
work
it
for
has
me.
one of my favorite jokes in the entire show,
What's that?
which was when Mike, she's like, you know, she's going through the whole like geolocation thing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and Mike turns to her and is like, "Oh, this is great. Can you print it?" And she's like, "Oh no, my skills stop at geolocations." And she just presses the print button, like,
And
I
just keep staring at him.
yeah,
it's-
that
it's-
just the comedy there is just fucking brilliant.
well, for the most part, the comedy throughout the show is great.
Yeah,
really great. There's another I suppose on the not funny side over with Hopper in this episode. He's with the Russians and they're getting their last meal. And
Very
it's
good.
a great sequence because they're brought out into the pit. The door's in front of them. You're waiting for it because you've seen the trailer, and you're like, "Here we go!" And then they're brought into this other room, and you're like, "What are you doing?" It's like-
And they have a bit of a Pan's Labyrinth kind of dinner table moment.
yeah. And then the soldiers are kind of theorizing about how it's like, if we stick together, we could really make it through this. And Hopper's basically telling him, "It's like you're fucked."
Yeah, man.
And he ain't lying. This ain't one of those like, oh, they talk up the monster, but actually they make it and they're fine. Like when you see that thing get out, holy shit, man! Fuck, we get to that. in a
I'm
minute.
glad we got to see the Demogorgon again, because we've never seen it like this.
No,
This is more brutal than we've ever seen it.
totally.
Though
Fucking
when
crazy.
he was like at first, when he was describing the Demogorgon to one of the Russians, and he says that it's really tall, pale, white skin. I was a bit thrown off by that because my memory is that the Demogorgon wasn't white.
Like it was always
Gray.
like
It was like
dark or
gray or
whatever.
something.
Yeah,
But apparently, no. If you kind of, it's just that the environments were dark.
Yeah.
Actually, if you kind of Google image it, it was always pale skinned.
I
and the
mean he
concept art
is
and
in
stuff,
this
so.
season for sure.
Oh no, I know that,
I
but
wouldn't
even
call
the
it
original one,
white skin though. It still
No,
seems
it's-
quite grayish.
it's gray maybe is more accurate. What do you think of that last meal scene?
I thought it
Oh,
was
it's
great
cool.
thing because just the fact that they're all trying to like, oh yeah, we stick together. It's like, oh yeah, they're trying to train an army, and then Hopper's been like,
And also him, I loved a bit like, okay, so he's taking the alcohol and he's figuring out how to get supplies and where he figures out how to get the lighter off the guard and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very Sam and Frodo, Start
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah. No, it is good. It's good. There's a sequence in that episode, and I suppose it plays on an element that's throughout a lot of episodes that we haven't touched on yet, which is where Jason riles up the town folk in the hall about the whole satanic panic thing.
Yeah. That reminded me of Midnight Mass.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah. But I really like that arc. I actually, and that's a character. Jason is a character that, like, in the first episode, I was like, not another jock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but like,
But I really like him.
yeah, because his entire his motivation isn't so I'm a dick because I play basketball. It's
Yeah.
really like, if you think that you're someone that you're in love with, like, was brutally hurt or killed in a gruesome manner, like, his mind, you can see it from, is it episode 2? He fucking walks into the forest and just screams in agony. Like,
Yeah.
in
But
the
even
men-
as when he sees Patrick die and he can't explain it, but Eddie was there.
Mhm,
Yeah.
So it's just the worst coincidence ever.
yeah,
And when he's trying to tell the cops what he saw, and the mix of fear and rage
yeah,
in his eyes.
like,
He's great.
his-
He's so good.
Like, his hunt is completely justified. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't understand what's going on. Like,
He has it wrong. Yeah.
he has it wrong, but it's justified his rage. Like,
There's a lot of where are we at now? Which episode are we on?
We're on episode 6.
6.
We're getting close to
Six,
episode 7.
It's just that that's kind of the last we see of that, isn't it? And
It is for the time being, yeah.
for 2 more episodes, there's a lot to wrap up, isn't there?
But there's 4 hours of content in those 2 episodes.
I know, but still.
Like,
I
I
mean,
mean,
Not
even
enough.
even,
When-
even
not
though
enough.
these episodes are much longer,
that's
than
the
previous-
length of Zack Snyder's.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let to return the king. Send it.
I
Yeah,
guess
so that's there's a lot. There is a lot, man.
I just
Fucking hell.
felt that with these ones, like they're obviously longer episodes, but it's something about it that just feels shorter or something. It's weird. Like it's so odd that I just
They fly by. They do fly by.
maybe it's because there's more happening per episode. Like there's more parties
it's-
involved. There's more
and it's moving along pretty quickly. Like even
Yeah.
though the episodes are long, I don't think they ever felt long, and I never
No.
wanted them to end. To be honest, I
No.
was always having a great time with them. I'm trying to think of anything else that happens in that episode we're talking about. Oh, there's a great Lord of the Rings reference. When Eddie the Banished brings
Yeah.
up, is like, you're asking me to go into Mordor. I don't really want to go into Mordor, but the Shire is burning, so into Mordor I will go. And it's like, yes.
Yeah.
And
I
Steve
wish it,
yet
buddy.
again being the comedy of that moment.
What the hell is Mordor? Yeah, he's so good. He has a line, I can't remember which episode it's in. Like, he has a couple of digs at Dustin this time around, and it's
Yeah.
fucking great. Not just one, and I laughed so hard. And it's where he's like, "You want me to knock your teeth back out?" And he's like, he gets so Dustin gets so sad, and he's like, "Is that too far? It's too far." He's like, "I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it's okay." Yeah.
Just them two in general. It's just like when they're
Great.
waiting for Max. Isn't it Max to come out of the
Yeah,
room?
they are. They're waiting for Max. Yeah,
And
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, there she is." It's like, I'm missing collarbones, not eyes.
He's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, and that moment as well in 6 where it is like Steve takes off the top to go down to find the portal, and like Lucas
Watch
like,
it.
"Jeez."
How long Max holds the binoculars for is so funny.
It's so funny, yeah, because
Yeah.
Lucas is like,
Oh,
"Oh, my
let me
god!"
see.
Like he's
And they're just
Yeah.
like looking.
she's just deadpan serious, just staring at him. It's brilliant.
It is perfect. Yeah.
But that episode ends as well.
That episode ends with Steve getting pulled into the Upside Down,
Oh, yes.
launching us into episode 7.
Yeah, I was so fucking.
So, what do you
excited
think
about
of the demo bat sequence, which of course is the beginning of episode 7?
Is that what we're calling them? Is that the official name?
The official name is demo bats. Yeah, demodactyls.
Demodactyls.
I would have called them like, I don't know, hell bats or something, spider bats, because they're kind of like spiders.
Bats
and
out of
bats
hell.
mixed.
Well, the Duffer Brothers called them the demo bats. So
Okay.
Like the Demogorgon is just one great. Like there's actually other D&D creatures.
I know.
But anyway,
Maybe they'll
really
get another name. I don't know.
They're horrible. They're horrible creatures. I would
They're
hate.
kind of like flying face huggers.
Oh, they're just.
Well, they look like a little bit like the things from The Empire Strikes Back, don't they?
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
No, tell me the odds.
Yeah, that's
Fucking
just
brilliant in episode
fucking-
1.
Yeah.
That was great. In episode
Great
1,
quote.
we missed that. That was a great quote from Dustin. But yeah, no, that was like, I was like, oh my god, Dustin's having an awful time. Welcome,
You mean Steve?
Steve. Sorry, Steve was having it off. I was like, that is just a perfect summation of a summary of welcome to the Upside Down. You get dragged in, 2 seconds later, you've been ripped to shreds by bats. It's like, yep.
That's another moment where I thought we were going to lose a character.
It's like, well,
Yeah,
no,
I was like,
I
maybe.
didn't think so because you had the other 3 jumping. I was like, they're definitely going to come in. But I didn't think it was going to take on as long as they did. I was like, wow, they're really tearing into Steve at the moment. Oh my god.
But that was a really great fight sequence.
Mm.
Even it's short, it's brief, but like everyone going to town on these things, and even like Eddie's oar breaks, and then he impales
Yeah, it's
one
good.
of the bats
It's good,
with
yeah.
a broken oar, and then like Steve biting his way out, and then just smashing the fucking demo bat to bits. And I love that Eddie later on in the episode says exactly what I was thinking, which is, man, that was so metal. It's like, yes, it was, Steve. You know, I was like, man, it was so Aussie, and he's like, Aussie? What the fuck? I was like, oh, Steve.
Yeah.
Why don't you get any of these references? So good.
Eddie has a good kind of heart-to-heart moment with Steve.
It's
in
really
the Upside
good.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah, and his delivery, and that's a moment where you're like, you know what? Whatever, like preconceptions I had of Eddie in that lunch hall acting like a weirdo, I like Eddie. I really like Eddie.
Yeah. And I love that it took, like,
He's great.
without kind of shoving it in your face or doing anything mad with it, that it took the courage of these 2 women for him to, you know, get his shit
To
together.
buck up and yeah. I liked when he was so honest about it. It's like, man, I wouldn't come in after you. but I was too ashamed to be the only one who wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's that, it's a really great moment. I think it's wonderfully done. And even how poetic he speaks when he's talking about, it was the greatest sign of love that his cynical eyes had ever seen, and it's wonderfully written. But we get to
how good is his American accent?
It's
Very
fucking
good.
insane.
Oh, well,
It's
all the
fucking
English
insane.
actors in this have amazing American accents.
They surely do. And
Yeah.
then we get to explore the Upside Down, the most we ever have in the whole show. I loved it, man. I loved it.
I know, like, there's bits in it where it's like, I think it's twice or three times the ground shakes or something. There's like an earthquake.
Yeah.
I was half expecting them to look up and see some like Doom Eternal Titan just fucking like marching along this 20-foot giant colossus. Because I was like, because we have no idea what else is in this.
No, but we know
at
some the Mind Flayer is coming back, right?
Yes.
Like it's still this. I suppose Dustin kind of puts together. We actually joked about that. Me and Adam did doing the non-spoiler version. We were like, I don't know, like if the Mind Flayer is like Sauron, maybe like the Vecna is like his Witch King or something like that. And Dustin pretty much says that. He goes, like, the Mind Flayer is the Overlord. If the Demogorgon is like the foot soldier, then Vecna is his general. And I was like, shit, that's what we said. So that's a cool cool comparison.
Yeah, one thing though, now that they've explored the Upside Down more, I've now having like slightly more theories about how the Upside Down works.
Right, like that whole thing of the fact that it's a still of 1983 Hawkins.
Oh, actually, sorry, two theories because of this. But anyway,
that was super interesting to me, especially like I don't know what, like as soon as she saw the study cards, I was like, oh, what? It's a very simple little thing, but it just suddenly changes the way you were thinking about the Upside Down. Because I had all these questions.
Do they have to go back to the future?
But it means that for the final season, they now have a really great way of doing all like kind of callbacks to season one. Like they have a natural way of doing kind of callbacks to this is where it all started, because the Upside Down is stuck in season one.
So yeah, like my first theory when I was watching it was like, what if the Upside Down only manifests what is in the person's mind? So like a person enters the Upside Down and they populate what they need essentially.
So it's based on how long Will was there?
So yeah, that'll be like the first thing. A lot of it is built around Will's mind.
Right.
And then when like Nancy and all them get there, they have Kiss Rock is still there, or Skull Rock is still there. When when Nancy's like, my guns, let's go get my guns, they go to the street. Every other house is gone, but hers is in perfect. And then they go to.
But hold on, but to your theory though, the guns are not there.
No, this is where my theory slightly changed.
Right. Okay.
So it's building up to the house, and then also when you take into account that Eddie's trailer thing was still there and everything like that. So like everything people needed to be there was still there. But anyway, then when they got, and it was 1983, this is where my theory got absolutely bonkers and is completely untrue. just for like a couple of seconds.
Do it, man.
For a couple of
Final Fantasy 7 remake on this shit.
Yeah. For like just a couple of seconds, I was like, what if we're going in one direction with time, but the Upside Down is going in another direction? So the Upside Down is actually technically going backwards, right?
So it has gone back to season 1, but it started with season 5.
Yeah, right? So then I was like, so that's how Vecna was in the 1950s.
That's what you're thinking at the time? Okay.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, don't be silly. That means he doesn't die in this, so he doesn't get defeated. He would technically win. So that's that out the window. But that was like for a couple of seconds I was thinking that.
Yeah, I think it's something that, like, I think we're not going to get, and we don't need an explanation as to how did the Upside Down get created, right? Like that's like, well, how did the Earth get created? Like it was just always there, maybe. But we probably will get an explanation as to why is it stuck in 1983. That I feel is a question that they have raised on purpose that they will answer. So I'm intrigued by it, and I loved watching all them figuring out how to work the lights and everything in the Upside Down. I thought all that was great, really cool. Adam, you're thinking long and deep and hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Very long, deep.
Well, I'm hoping that they
thoughts with
don't
us.
have to. I'm hoping that they don't do a time travel-y thing in it, like as in the only way to stop them is if they go use the Upside Down's time frame to like close the gate from within, so it never actually happened.
Oh, right, okay, maybe.
I kind of hope they don't go down that road because it's a bit like I don't know, like time travel-y. We've had it now for.
I
so
actually
many
always thought back to season 1.
Yeah.
I thought the Upside Down was Hawkins in the future, and that this is
right.
going to happen. So then, but it's obviously not now. Like that's absolutely not what it is.
But now I'm wondering if it's like, is the Upside Down, is it stuck in that time period, or is it just that it's like a couple of years behind, and that's why Vecna is only showing up now, or something. You know
right?
what I mean?
Like even just that time works differently there.
Yeah. It's hard to know, but like that, there's loads of questions that need answering, with the volume 2. But of course, they do have season 5 to explore them.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
I'm not expecting
I
to get all the answers in this. I'm surprised with how much they gave us. Answer-wise, this is clearly not the writers of Lost.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
You know.
they haven't given us that much, have they? I mean, we all we get now is just.
Well, we didn't even have to wait till the finale to find out everything about Vecna.
Well, we don't have we still don't know, like, what's his connection? Like, how did he survive in the Upside Down? How is he?
No, sure, but we
and...
know who he was and how he
Yeah.
came to be. Like we know all of that, right?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how he got his powers. Like, how does he have powers?
It's the same powers, no? It's just that he's
Well,
reaching
no,
into another
but
dimension.
yeah, but they stayed in season 7 when he's doing his
Season
big
7?
monologue.
No, it's episode.
Episode.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
that
whoa,
long.
whoa,
It feels like a season. That episode, his monologue, he talks about how he had his powers, and then when
They
he went
started
into
to replicate
coma, they started to replicate it through him.
Yeah.
Not find other kids like him. It's replicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
So how does
created.
he have
Yeah.
them?
What do you mean?
Well, okay. So L only has her powers because of one.
Yes.
How does one have powers?
Oh, right. You mean like initially, how did he ever have powers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
something I
not
feel
explained.
no, but they won't explain that.
You don't think
Because
so?
that's no, I don't think so. Because I think that's like eventually then like how far back do you want to go? Like it started with God or something. I don't know. Like, you know, I think that's just one of those things where it's like
He started with a turtle.
He has supernatural abilities, and that's just it, because it's a supernatural show in the same way as there isn't, like, even at that point, there is an alternate dimension out there at all times, and it's always been there. And it's like, do you want to know how it got created? You'll never know how that got created because it's just always been there, right? It's been there as long as the Earth has. I don't think we're going to get an answer as to how did number one get powers. I think he just is he's a mutant, so to speak, if you want.
Nah, I want answers. I didn't like the whole his kind of association with spiders, right? I didn't like how that was roped into it. I like the spiders being used as a kind of a fear factor and stuff like that, but the fact that he just stumbled upon, firstly, a web of Black Widows, like you're going to start fucking handling that shit, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, just he's a
creepy kid.
Out of all the villains that have some sort of like kind of in modern writing that have some sort of agenda, his is a bit weird. I think it's not so easily justifiable.
One thing that lost me in the monologue is I do think they overcomplicated it a little bit.
Yeah,
and I think they should have simplified it, because he's got a few different motives that are all wrapped up into one. Like, one part of it is he wants to be the greatest predator. Another part of it is he wants to break down the rules and norms of society and show people that what they're following is stupid and wrong and the rules suck. Then another part of it is he wants to feel like he's a god because he doesn't belong anywhere. And it's like, there's too many things. Another part, he is a spider.
Yeah. Okay,
like,
you lost me there, man.
yeah, it's like, whoa, hold up. So there's I think they again, I love the performer, by the way.
Oh,
I
he's
think
good
he's
in it. Yeah,
great.
he's really good.
And it's a shame he's not Robert Pattinson's Joker. Because I just think the way he moved, his
Or that
mannerisms,
he
his
just
performance.
wasn't used as Grindelwald.
Or, actually, someone needs to cast him in the future as a James Bond villain.
Yeah.
He has got that down.
Will he
He's
ever
so good.
get with Joanna?
Now I'm the guy from the Dark Crystal. But yeah, I think while the monologue is cool and there's lots of great reveals, and also Watchmen, I there was too many different motives going on. However, I did like that I was reminded of so he's Sephiroth, right? Martin Brenner is Hojo. The Mind Flayer is Genova. It's Final Fantasy VII.
yeah. Provided that the Mind Flayer... See, I'm just wondering if the Upside Down, did it actually always exist? Or did L almost create it in that moment as an eternal prison for one? And that one uses his own powers to reshape the Upside Down and creates these monstrosities himself.
Oh, maybe we have it wrong and the Mind Flayer isn't the Overlord.
Might not be.
I think it probably is, just because they mentioned it in
think
the show.
it is.
But
I think
food for thought.
I know, I get you. I think based on the mythology they've already set up, I think the Mind Flayer is the villain.
Yeah.
The emperor of it all.
But Vecna, I suppose, is at a point where he has some kind of pact with the Mind Flayer. I feel like his abilities make him maybe impossible to take over. Right? Like maybe he can't be taken over, and that's the only reason.
Or this is the first time he has someone with this type of ability that's like, well, I'd rather take sides with you.
But how does the Mind Flayer communicate when not through a host, though? It's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to play out.
Sign language.
I mean, he's got the hands for
it. Okay, so the big reveal. Eric, did you like the big reveal?
Yes, because I didn't see it coming because I had all my other bonkers theories.
Great. Okay.
I had shit where like, oh, maybe Vecna is like a psionic projection of fucking Victor Creel. This was like an episode 2 or something.
Sure.
It's like a manifestation and shit. So I was like, but yeah, I liked it, and then it started to, and then it kept going, and then it kept going, and then it kept going, and I was like, oh, now you're going to zoom in on the tattoo of number 1. I like 5-year-olds aren't watching this show. We figured it out.
Sure. I didn't like that last shot. I thought it was like we have been hammered the point home that he's Vecna. And I do think it goes on too long, his monologue. However, for the most part, it's an excellent monologue.
Yes.
It's well performed.
The music's great.
I wasn't disappointed that I figured it out. It was more like that's great. Like I was kind of happy.
Yeah.
Like because I think it's great.
Good payoff.
It's a good payoff.
Do you think there's is it just a quinky dink that they have this kind of backstory creation of the super being character while looking at a clock telling time using this music? That it's very similar to that of the creation of Dr. Manhattan? Do you think it's just a coincidence, or do you think
and his becoming Vecna is by being disintegrated?
Yeah, or do you think it's like that they were kind of nodding to or paying tribute to that Watchmen scene?
I think it can't not be a nod. I really, because like they're clearly comic book fans. The Hellfire Club is named after X-Men. They make X-Men references all the time throughout the show. Like they're obviously big X-Men fans in particular, but just the whole superpowered thing, and even the way they have Vecna moving everyone around, it's very superpowery. And you know, one of the episodes was called The Superhero and the Monster, and Elle's on a path to become a superhero again. So they're clearly influenced as well by, like, outside of the fantasy and the horror stuff, they're influenced by comic books and superheroes and things. So I do think that was a Watchmen. Like they were like maybe even in the test they just put that music over to say we want something similar to this music because it worked so well in this other scene, and then they were like, actually, you know what, let's just use it.
Yeah, I know that they listen to music as they write.
Yeah,
so perhaps that was just, you know,
music
what was on, and then they were like, you know what, though, like let's stop trying to find a different tune. That's perfect. Let's just use it.
Totally.
I wonder that, or does that particular piece of instrument, the story behind it, does it have something to do with time and a reflection on someone's past?
Possibly.
Which is then would be why Zack Snyder also used it for Dr. Manhattan when he was being created and looking back at his life.
It's Philip Glass, isn't it?
I think so. So yeah, maybe
that's
there's a
what
very
Shu said.
metaphorical sense why
Yeah.
it's used. The other sequence then, I know. Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to say, just the scene when he does get disintegrated and goes into that. It doesn't look like the upside down. It looks like the parallel down. Whatever you call it.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't have any of Hawkins or anything in it yet.
No, it doesn't. That scene was a bit kind of cheesy. It was a bit like
I didn't need to see the lightning hit him because I just felt like, okay, he's in there. That's enough. I get it. He turns into Vecna.
Yeah. It's like he gets corrupted by something. But then maybe they're showing that specifically to show that Hawkins isn't there and it's not the upside down. Thus, then, is this a different reality? Is it hell? Is it actually that it is? It is actually hell.
Maybe. I fucking loved when Nancy went into the trance. I thought it was well done. And also when she was in the swimming pool and could see Barb's corpse again, I was like, this is dope. And having like the blood pouring in and everything. And
that was really cool.
That
was really good.
But speaking of blood, the other sequence, we briefly mentioned it, but it is in this episode. And before we come to the end of the discussion, I really want to talk about it because it's one of the other big highlights of the season for me. Is that Demogorgon pit fight?
Yeah.
Not only does the camera pan in at that door, screen goes fully black. It feels like that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
They do another fake out, and then it jumps out. Holy shit!
It just fucks everything up.
My jaw dropped. I was like, it was as entertaining to me as that one shot gunfighting sequence, but for a different reason. Like it was a different kind of thing. You know, it was nearly like Batman taking on everyone in the warehouse.
Yeah,
I feel like at this point they've really figured out the Demogorgon, because I always felt the Demogorgon as a creature design was quite awkward.
Right,
with season 1, like the kind of flower petal face thing, where exactly is its mouth? But
when you see it munch that guy's head,
they have it really figured out here.
Oh my god,
the animation's good. Yeah,
the one thing, like another thing that with that scene is it reminded me of like that's kind of how Alien would perform if it was cornered.
Right.
Because it would be that vicious, using everything it's got to take down these people, and it would be that hard to take down. Like, or if you had Predator in that situation, like it just kind of like really reminded me of those two iconic, vicious alien-like characters that hunt down and kill people.
I also love when, kind of exactly to what you're saying, when like Hopper is swinging the flame, so he can't get at him, and it just notices a guy climbing, so it just fucking fucks him up.
Yeah,
and it's so like it's juggling everyone around. Like,
it kind of actually reminded me of the Wendigos from Until Dawn.
Oh yeah, a bit. Yeah, totally.
Really quick movement, like.
It's so vicious, and I love that. And I don't think it's dead. Like I know, like Hopper gets that awesome spear throw, and it's so cool. But I think it's still alive, and I can't wait to see it kind of clawing its way through the prison and killing everyone. Like it's gonna be sick. Alien 3 vibes, in a big way.
So, do you think Hopper? Just thinking now, like, so obviously we have 2 more episodes to look forward to in this season. Do you think Hopper is going to have a huge role in like the final fight, or is that kind of the end of his story? He's safe now, or?
No, I don't think his story is over. I think there's definitely more to happen there. I think there's probably a couple more revelations to come. Obviously, they need to hold off some stuff for season 5, but I think maybe we'll get some answers as to how did the Russians know about the Upside Down and how did they get this Demogorgon. I think those answers are probably in that prison. I think Hopper and Joyce are going to get those answers.
I assume neither one of you watched the teaser for Volume 2.
I did, but say nothing for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But
no, I was just wondering if okay. Grant. It'd be good. I think season 4 will end for Hopper and all them leaving Russia. So I think they'll have a big climatic get to
Right.
the get to the chopper while
All
the
right, so
fucking place is blowing up.
okay.
Like,
But you
yeah,
don't-
that's what I'm thinking.
But do you think so they're not going to be like in Hawkins? That'll be a season 5.
Yeah,
They probably won't get to Hawkins.
Okay.
Just with I'm only thinking because with how dire or how like immediate what's going on in Hawkins is happening, and they're all the way in Russia.
Yeah.
Like it's far more likely that the guys in California are going to get to Hawkins in time for that finale.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't think the guys in Russia will.
Yeah.
I just don't. It would take too long. And like Nancy is right in that trance now. But I can't wait to see.
now.
Like we obviously saw in the original trailer Eddie playing guitar in the Upside Down.
Yes.
So we're obviously going back in, and I can't wait to see what that's about.
So that's the thing where I was like, so is the song, does it, I think they said it has to have a meaning. It doesn't have to be your favorite song, it just has to have meaning.
Right, to act as a lifeline.
What's he going to play? And,
Material Girl.
it's obviously Steve knows it. Or is it that one of the kids knows it? Does Dustin know it?
Well, it could be a thing though. Like we don't know what scene that happens. Like maybe Nancy somehow gets out of it, but maybe someone else ends up in the trance, or maybe
or
we don't really know.
He ends up being like the doof warrior, and they just play music. He plays music to
while they're
kind
all
of
killing stuff
to weaken,
Yeah, that would be
like a
cool.
noise marine.
I can't wait for the showdown, guys. This has been in Stranger Things season 4 fashion, our longest episode in quite some time, but it felt fitting to be able to talk about this stuff properly and not just to some stuff maybe we rush through, and there's a lot more that could be talked about. But we will definitely also be talking about volume 2 when that comes out in spoiler fashion. But is there anything else you guys wanted to bring up for the purpose of this episode? Obviously we could go into everything, but is there anything that you didn't get a chance to talk about that happened at some point in this volume before we come to the end of this discussion?
Well, just more so that like this is probably one of the greatest things on TV I've watched this year. This is
Oh no, the 100% is
fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
And I'm just
100% is the best thing I've watched.
I'm
this
not.
week.
Maybe I'm just not on the right pages. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing enough about it or hearing enough about it. Like I kind of keep seeing
you
and
need to
hearing.
go on Twitter, brother.
You're on the wrong.
I'm
it's
wrong. Okay, I'm wrong.
everywhere. It
Yeah.
was number 1 in 86 countries in its opening weekend. It has the highest.
It's doing okay.
I heard it was like 200 million hours or something like that put into it
over
just
opening
the weekend.
So
Yeah.
it is the most watched. It had the highest like premiere weekend of any show ever. It outdid
Yeah.
Bridgerton 2.
Yeah, well, it deserves it because fuck me.
It's
the
incredible.
love-
and Dear
the love
Billy
affair.
is getting huge praise.
Oh, well,
huge praise.
I did see that. I did see that.
And
That
not
was
even just like so the show getting its praise and like running up that hill is top of the charts in so many countries, but even like it even comes down to these T-shirts that we're wearing, the Hellfire
Yeah, like I
Club
mean,
T-shirts,
it's,
right?
it's like all these
we
clothes
got
shops are
them
getting stuff in.
we got them in pennies, which is like Primark for anyone who's outside of Ireland, right? They literally can't keep them on the shelves. They are sold out every day, and there's people coming in every day asking for them, and they're like, we don't know when we're getting more. Like they are sold out everywhere.
the show deserves that attention and love because everyone who worked on it should be proud of what they did.
It's without a doubt the best show
Amazing.
on Netflix,
Yeah, 100%.
and probably on every streaming service right now.
I couldn't agree more. Agree more. And this is the best season since season 1. I think.
Yeah.
Is it better than season 1? I mean, in obviously technically, yes. In terms of the tone and story, though, however, I'm not so sure, and I don't know whether maybe that's just always going to be a nostalgia for season 1, or is it just that there's a special magic with season 1 because those kids were just the right age for the right kind of horror, and they'll never ever be that. You know, it's a time capsule. You will never get that back. You know what I mean? You can't, and which they've played into, and it's been wonderful. Even them, like Hopper's beautiful monologue at the end of season 3 about it's like maybe I just don't want you to grow up, and I felt like the writers saying that, going, we're running out of time to write this story. We wish we could stop you, so that we can. Have
Out of
more
all
time,
the kids, though,
know?
who do you think is it just really does not look like that age anymore? Like
Will.
Yes, it's definitely Will.
Will is
way.
changed.
And his voice has deepened so much.
That little haircut is not looking good now.
No, but he definitely looks like out of all of them, he's the kid who's like, hey guys, I play some baseball. Like he just fucking
Yeah.
his entire face has morphed into a different face.
He went from the cutest, most adorable little kid that you're like, oh god, I actually worry so much about him.
Mhm.
You know, like especially in season 1 and 2, to like nearly a totally different character, but he can't help it. Like he's
No,
just
no,
grown
yeah,
up,
he
he's
can't.
changed.
But the others, I was pretty surprised with, like, when you see them in interviews, they look nothing like their character.
Yeah.
Like they actually look like adults off set. So I think they did a really good job at making them look like teenagers.
Like teenagers, yeah, 100%. No, and the performances across the board are fucking incredible. Some of the greatest talent in television ever is on this show. What do you guys think? Just before we finish up, and I'd love for anyone who is listening to jump in on this as well. Like apart from also the song thing and your favorite moments from Stranger Things 4. But what do you think is on Will's painting? Since we're talking about Will,
I know, right?
And they are really
There's
holding
two things
that
we
off.
need to know.
Like not only, yeah.
One is
what
what's
else
on
do you
his
think?
painting.
Yeah.
The other is what's under Lucas's bed.
Okay. I don't think we're going to find out what's under Lucas's bed. I think the implication is just funny enough. We are 100% going to find out what's on Will's painting, though.
Yeah.
Because it
I
was
think
like
Mike will die.
talked about. Mike?
Like,
I
what's
thought
the
about it.
moment?
I
What's
thought
the
about it.
moment?
That'd be a shocker, wouldn't it?
What's
Would
the
they kill
moment that he
Will?
shows that? Will they though? Because
He's already gone
maybe
through a
the
lot
only-
of stuff.
a lot of
the
shit
only
happened
thing-
to Will, though, didn't it?
Yeah, but the only thing I would love to see is Vecna, what Will's visions would be. We would just get this montage of all the horrible shit he's been through. I'd love to see those visions. I think that'd be a really awesome.
But considering,
but also, actually, sorry, they might do like a Pennywise Richie moment where Vecna is revealing Will's true feelings in the form of what's been.
Well, I kind of
tearing
feel
him
like
up inside.
I kind of feel like they might do it. Like if Mike dies, it's a bit similar to like if a Nancy died situation, right? Because you have it'll affect Elle, it'll affect Will, but it will also really
and Nancy, yeah.
kill Will, wouldn't it? Because he has the painting, he never actually got to show him, and he never got to, say whatever it is he wanted to say.
But then the other side is if they kill Will, not only does it affect Joyce and Elle, who's been his like stepsister for the last year, and Jonathan, and which could drive wedges in between everyone's emotions and stuff. But if Mike finally sees that painting after Will's gone and realizes how he really didn't listen to him as a friend and pushed him aside too much, and that guilt maybe is what drives him forward in the final season. It could go either way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone's going to die though in this this season, right? Someone's going to die.
Because we did see in the background that Vecna is able to enter multiple people's minds at a single time.
When he was like looking at many people at once?
No, when he was attacking Victor Creel, he also killed his sister. So he's able to do it to multiple people once, but because he was a kid, that's what put him in the coma.
Put him in the coma.
You're right.
But now he's much more powerful, so he could do
you
it
think they'll have a sequence
to everybody?
They'll be thrown off where he does, and we'll see like a sequence where they're all kind of, and maybe Eddie.
It'll be the Pennywise.
It'll be the guitar.
It'll be the Pennywise fucking house sequence, isn't it? It's like they're all.
But then Eddie won't be affected. He'll get up on that yoke, you plug it in, and he just plays some rocking tunes.
And they have to follow Eddie's guitar.
Yeah,
and they all have to get out of this house of madness, basically. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
but I think amazing. the painting is their D&D characters.
I do as well. Yeah, I think
that'd be cool.
But let us know what you guys think, and let us know all your favorite moments from Stranger Things 4, what song is going to save from Vecna, and anything that we didn't bring up that you'd like to talk about, any theories you have about the Upside Down, about what's going to happen, about who might die. Let us know. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. Thank you for checking out this super long episode. It's been fucking super fun watching the show and talking about the show. So share all your favorite moments. And if you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell for when we finally get to do Volume 2 when that comes out on the weekend of July 1st. And if you guys have been listening to us on audio platforms, then you can also touch base at social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Stranger Things Season 4. Thank you very much for listening, you guys, and we'll be back to talk to you guys next time.
Bye-bye.